Come show your glory. Come show your face. Come light a fire in us. Breathe on this place. Your love pursues us. Tears down.
Hey everyone, welcome to the house. My name is Wes. My wife Vanessa and I, we're the lead pastors here. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're wondering why we're up here, up in the hills of the Santa Monica Mountains, you'll have to check out last week's message where we talk about going to another level. All month long, we're talking about expecting miracles and how you can expect in your life miracles. And today we're going to jump in to the Gospel of Mark, chapter number 9. If you have a Bible, you could turn there. We're going to throw it on the bottom of the screen for you as well. And while you're checking that out, if you have any questions throughout this service today, how to get plugged in at the house, what do we believe, how can you partner with us in giving, any of that, you can go to thehousela.org. Thank you for making sure to put your right email address in there so we can stay in contact with you. Thank you for those of you who have partnered with us in giving. And always a big congrats to those of you who are making that first step to follow Jesus. You are amazing. All right, today, Mark chapter 9, starting at verse number 14, it says this. When they returned to the other disciples. Now let me pause right there. Jesus, Peter, James, and John are at the top of a mountain and they're coming down the mountain together. It's called at the Mount of Transfiguration. We'll get to there in a minute, but this is where it's jumping in. When they returned to the other disciples, they saw a large crowd surrounding them. So the three are with Jesus and there's 9 other disciples who are down at the bottom and they're praying for people and whatnot. They saw a large crowd surrounding them. Some of the teachers of religious law were arguing with them. When the crowd saw Jesus, they were overwhelmed with awe and they ran to greet him. What is all this arguing about? Jesus asked. One of the men and the crowd spoke up and he says, Teacher, I brought my son so that you could heal him. This is a dad. He says, Jesus, I brought my son to you. And these 9 guys, they prayed and he says this, he is possessed by an evil spirit that won't let him talk. And whenever the spirit seizes him, it throws him violently to the ground. Then he foams at the mouth, he grinds his teeth, he becomes rigid. So ask your disciples to cast out the evil spirit. But they couldn't do it. Jesus said to them, now to the 9, you faithless people. He's like, come on, guys. Like, I put you in charge. He says, how long must I be with you? Like, you can do this. How long must I put up with you? He says, and then he goes, okay, bring the boy to me. So they brought the boy, but the evil spirit, when it saw Jesus, not the boy, but the evil spirit in the boy, when it saw Jesus, it threw the child into a violent convulsion, and the child, then he fell to the ground, writhing, foaming at the mouth. Jesus looks to the father, he says, how long has this been happening? Since he was a little boy. The spirit often throws him into the fire or water, trying to kill him. And then the father looks into Jesus' eyes and says, have mercy on us and help us if you can. Just a cry of desperation of any father for their son. What do you mean if I can? Jesus asked. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Let me just look into this camera right now as if I'm in the room with you or in your car. Maybe you're on a subway or train or a bus. Anything is possible if a person believes. The father instantly cried out. He says, I believe. I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief. Come on, I believe, but help me overcome my unbelief. When Jesus saw that the crowd of onlookers was growing, there's more people coming to this crowd now. He rebuked the evil spirit and he says, hey, you listen, you spirit that makes this boy unable to hear and speak. He says, I command you, come out of this child, never enter him ever again. Spirit screamed, leaves the boy. The boy actually appeared to be dead. And then people start whispering in the crowd, he's dead. Oh my gosh, Jesus killed this boy. But Jesus took the boy up by the hand, helped him to his feet, gave him back to the father. Afterward, verse 28, afterward, when Jesus was alone in the house with his disciples, they asked him, why couldn't we do that? He replied to them, this kind can only come out by prayer. Now, as this last year, as our world went more digital than ever before. 2020, massively, especially March of 2020, everything goes full digital. 2021, everything is like still 80, 90% digital. I read an article in Barron's magazine, it's like an investment magazine that talks about how much of the world is going to stay partially digital, fully digital, that what people are going to be in person, and kind of like everything's digital. Now, with that has come an enormous amount of emails. I don't know about you, I get so many emails and so many emails, I feel like I'm clicking unsubscribe. I'm like, why? They're like, why would you unsubscribe? Why would you unsubscribe me? I was told I never signed up for this email. I never signed up to learn about plants. I never signed up for dirt filled being delivered. I never signed up for this or never signed up for that. One of the funniest emails that I get every month, but I have yet to unsubscribe, maybe I will at some point, is my Expedia points email. You guys get that? Like, you know, those travel points emails, and they say, hey, Wes, you have 7,000 Expedia points. And I'm like, this is amazing. I never signed up for this. I used your service one time in 1997 before you guys launched, but I'm getting the emails every month now, and I'm so excited. What can I use those 7,000 points for? Is like, can I fly first class international? No, you can't fly first class international with those 7,000 points. Can I buy a regular flight? Can I just fly regular, not even first class, just from here to Seattle or here to Chicago or here to Austin, Texas or here to Florida or Atlanta or wherever you're watching? Can I fly there? No, you can't fly there with those 7,000 points. Can I get free Wi-Fi with these points? No, you can't even get free Wi-Fi with these points. What are these points good for? Well, Wes, these points are good for this email. That's what it is. That's about all you get from these Expedia points is this email. I wonder how many of us look at our faith like those travel points. I've got some faith. I don't really know what it's good for. It's not enough to take me far. It's not enough to take me short. I have it. I get the email from the church. I signed up for the newsletter. I have some level of faith, but it's not really good enough to actually do anything or to go anywhere. I think a lot of us look at our faith like those Expedia travel points. Now, the background of this story that we just read in Mark chapter 9, Jesus is on top of a mountain, and he's transfigured, right? But Peter, James, and John, they see this transfiguration that happens in Jesus' life. They see it. The God-man, Jesus Christ, the blameless one, they see him transfigured. They come down the mountain. They're on a mountain very similar to this. They come down the mountain, and now there are 9 disciples who Jesus has given authority. Jesus gave these men authority to cast out evil spirits, to heal the sick, to raise the dead, and a situation came upon him where a father says, hey, can you guys heal my boy? And they're unable to do it. And this boy, this evil spirit comes over this boy, tries to throw him in a fire, tries to throw him in a water, tries to destroy his life. By the way, anytime you see the enemy at work, it's never elevating people. God elevates people. God lifts people up out of the ash heap. It's the devil that always brings people down and destroys people's lives. The Father looks in Jesus' eyes and says, do something if you can. And Jesus says those famous words back to him, anything is possible if you believe. Any situation, any hardship, any difficulty that you might be facing today, anything is possible if you believe. I wonder how many of you today, you're facing a difficult situation and you feel like the faith that you have is that Expedia points faith. It's like, I've got some faith, but it seems like a weak level of faith. It's a small level of faith, but not enough faith to take on this situation. I have faith to go to church. I have faith to say a prayer, but faith to heal this marriage? Faith for a healthy relationship? Faith for that job? Faith to be a homeowner? That level of faith? I don't have that level of faith. How about this? Have you ever felt like your faith just wasn't quite enough? It just wasn't enough. I have faith to bless my meal, but not faith to bless my life. I have faith, but not at that level. I've got a few points of faith in an email. I've got a few points of faith for attending a church or praying or something like that. That's what I have. The father in the story, with love in his heart for his boy, recognizes that he has a small level of faith. He has that Expedia points level of faith, but not faith at that level. Maybe you're watching this today and you feel like I've got a small level of faith and that's it. With love in his heart, he brings his boy to Jesus. By himself, it is not enough. I want you to hear me out. Before we talk about faith, let me just say this. By himself, it is not enough. The disciples, by themselves, who were supposed to have authority, who were supposed to be the ones to walk in authority, to cast out demons, by themselves, they were not enough. Instead, they begin to rely on their own authority rather than the one who brings the miracles. Both of these situations prove that you are not enough by yourself. See, our faith is not in our faith. My faith is not in whether I've got this much faith or this much faith or this much faith. My faith is in the one who is able to do the miracles, not in my ability to make them happen. If your faith is in your faith, you will always feel like it is never enough. I do not have enough faith. How about this? Have you ever prayed with someone that is not afraid or not ashamed to bring whatever level of faith that they've got to God? Like those people, I love their prayers because most churches get nervous about their prayers because a lot of times they don't have big faith. Oh man, they don't come in like some people, they come in and their faith is dressed in a robe and it's kingly and priestly and all of heaven stands as they give this great prayer. I'm talking about the people that just pray very real prayers. You know what I'm talking about? Those prayers that are maybe not safe for work prayers, those open, honest, just here I am, God, here's the situation that I'm facing, here's everything that's in front of me, those kind of prayers. If you want to see miracles, let me challenge you. Offer your very real, very raw, unfinished prayers to God and you watch him work. Watch him work. Instead of just saying, hey, I got to wait till I got this level of faith, why don't you bring the small level of faith that you have to God in its raw, unfinished faith, like that father with his son saying, Jesus, I believe, but it's not enough. So will you help my unbelief? I have this much faith. I've got this in my heart, but Jesus, will you help my unbelief? Because the point is not you. The point is this, it's not you who makes the miracles happen, it's God. God is the one who makes the miracles happen. I want to see miracles. All this month we're talking about miracles and expecting miracles. I want to see miracles. I want to see miracles of the presence of God showing up at our church, showing up in our services, showing up in your world. I want to see the miracles happen at the house. I want to see miracles happening in your life where you're able to say, hey, I brought this level of faith to God. I brought this situation to God and God did a miracle. I want to see miracles, but it's not you and I that make the miracles happen. It's God. It's not your faith alone. It's not your faith in your faith. It's your faith in the God who is able to make the miracles happen. In the same way Colossians says, it's not you. It's Christ in you that's the hope of glory. It's not your ability. It's God's ability through you. My faith is not in my faith. If my faith was in my faith, I would feel like what I have is not enough. If your faith is in your faith, if your faith is in your ability to make something happen, sooner or later, a situation will arise and you will find yourself saying, what I have is not enough, and you'll even start to believe who I am is not enough because the pressure is on you to make that miracle happen. Why not take that situation with your own limitations of faith? Why not take that and offer it to God in a very real, very raw prayer to God? God, I can't make this relationship work on my own. God, I can't heal this area of my heart. God, I can't move on from this hurt. God, I can't seem to get out of this whirlwind of anxiety and fear that seems to trap me. Every Tuesday it comes on, every Monday it comes on. And instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to listen to a new podcast, I'm going to encourage myself and I'm going to make this happen on my own. Why not take that little faith that you have and say, God, I'm trusting you for miracles. I have faith, but help me with my unbelief. I want to see the miracles of God happen in your life. Faith and faith alone is not enough. Your faith has to be in the God who does miracles on your behalf. I'm going to challenge you in this, and this is where we'll end today. I'm going to challenge you in this. Write out a list of all of the things, not just, hey, God, I want you, here's my Christmas list, here's my birthday list, here's my wish list, but write out a list of the things that are in front of you that you would say, God, my faith feels like those Expedia points. It doesn't feel like it's enough. Write out that list and then bring it to God in a very real, very authentic, very raw prayer and say, Jesus, I have faith, and I realize my faith is not enough to make these things happen, but my faith in you, I know that you can make these things happen. Write out those prayers and then bring them to God in a very real prayer. Anything is possible to those that believe. I believe that we will see some of the greatest miracles this coming year at the house, and I'm expecting miracles to show up in your life. Let me pray as we close. Jesus, I thank you for every single friend who's watching this right now. I'm praying for that list of situations that they're facing, the circumstances that they're facing, where it seems like it is so much. I pray, God, as they offer those things to you, God, thank you that it's not based on their faith alone, but we combine our faith together and we bring those things to you because, Jesus, you are enough. Jesus, you are the one that makes miracles happen. You are the one that still heals the sick, raises the dead, brings families back together, takes orphans and brings them into homes. You are the one that makes that happen. And so I pray, God, for your healing, salvation, your grace over their lives right now in Jesus' name. Everyone said amen. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. If you have not yet, be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you also to those of you who have shared this link with others. You share it on social media. It helps us get that word out. If you would like to take your next step with God and you would like to just reach out and say, God, I want to take my little level of faith and I want to see it grow, you can go to housela.org and click on next steps. We would love to help you as you grow in your relationship with God. And let me just say this, the faith that you have is enough because you and I, we will bring that faith to God and He is the one that makes miracles happen in your life. God bless. We'll see you back next week as we continue this discussion on expecting miracles.